everyone, my name is Kaikun6 and I'm here to do another episode of Playlist Stories. And if you're new to this channel, hi. What Playlist Stories is just like I go through like my selection of music that I listen to, especially on Spotify, and then I talk about like a memory attached to this song, and it's mainly just like, you know, people I have met, experiences that I've experienced like in, you know, like in the past, and then like probably people I don't even talk to anymore, or ones that I barely knew, or like just in general, just like people that I basically know. And I wanted to do this week an episode talking about my friend Jaws. And well, we barely talk as it is, but like he has been like such a long time friend, and I remember talking about him multiple times on this channel, where I have so many stories to tell you about this guy, because like he is a very like interesting individual. But I am gonna probably postpone that and then just talk about somebody else. Like like this person came up in my mind when I was trying to listen to some music just like yesterday. And then I ended up just like immediately like being entranced, usually whenever I'm trying to listen to a certain song. And then next thing you know, like memories start popping up for that certain song, and then I start writing down on my notebook. And so yeah, so basically that's what I do on this series. So now I get to talk about who I'm going to talk about, and then like what kind of memories are attached to the song, and how every single time I ever listen to the song, it just reminds me of the said person or just said experience. So yeah. So yeah. And I always write it down on this notebook. I got this at Dollar Tree like probably now a couple years ago, and it's so pretty. I am a sucker for floral stuff, and yeah, I don't know if like you'll ever get this notebook again, but if you're able to, go ahead. There's the barcode, so that way you'll be able to get it. But it is a very, you know, a very thick notebook. I like it. I just don't know. Oh, it says 160 sheets on there. I was just trying to see how much. And I think I got it for like maybe $3 or $5. I don't remember. But yeah, so on my notebook, like I'm going to be sharing now, it's just like I write down kind of like the first pages is like the episodes that I have written down for Playlist Stories, and then just kind of like the name of the song, the artist, and then like a small summary of like what the memories are about. And then in the back of the notebook, which I am kind of like writing backwards, it's just like notes that I have talked to, like basically kind of like get my thoughts in order, and then talk about, you know, kind of like the said person, what memories I have, so that way I don't have to like ramble a lot like I am right now. So yeah, so that's what the series is about. And so for those that are familiar, well then thank you for coming back and watching. So now this, I didn't know what kind of episode I was going to do, other than I wanted to talk about my friend Jaws. But I decided like I'm gonna have to like talk to my friend Choji, so that way he and I can have a few things on the list like properly done. I'll just need to reach out to him whenever I can, so I can do next episodes really properly, so that way I'll be able to have it all done. So yeah. So while I was listening to the song, as you can see, the title is Walk Away, Remember Me by Paula, DeAnda, and DEY. I think that's how they pronounce it. I am not sure. I don't know how to pronounce some of these names half of the time, and whenever I do like listen, or like kind of like I have it written down anyway, but like whenever I read the names, I'm just like, I'm hoping I said it right, but who knows. But yeah, anyway, but yeah, it is that song. I don't know why this certain song reminded me of this said person. Honestly, I still have this person as a friend on my Facebook and stuff like that, but I don't really talk to her that much, because honestly the last time I have ever talked to her or actually seen her, well, talking to her was like probably like a Facebook message once in a while, because usually I do like sometimes these yearly updates of like people that I haven't talked to at all, and I go reach out to them saying, hey, how are you doing, and stuff like that. But most of the time I'm like, if you have me as a friend on Facebook, like you can just see what kind of random stuff I have shared on my Facebook. So yeah, so for this said person, I haven't talked to her in like forever, But I have forgotten to reach out to her to see if she's doing okay, because like a lot of stuff has happened since I made the video for what was it, Clint Eastwood by the Gorillas, because I was still kind of like in shock of what happened, like once I found out like what truly happened to my friend Sparky. And I was just like in shock. So most of all, like she was the one who was in shock because she used to date Sparky. So that's the person I want to talk about today. And I don't want to say her real name because I know a lot of my friends associate with this person and they know who she is. So I'm just gonna give her the nickname Momo. She did you know, kind of like was associated with another nickname, but that nickname is actually offensive to her, and I don't want to offend her, especially since I haven't talked to her in a long time. So yeah. So for some reason, the song reminds me of her. So I have like her full name right here on my notebook, but I'm not gonna be sharing that. But I am gonna nickname her Momo. And how I met her was through my friend Sparky. Like, I have known her since high school. I remember, like, it was just, like, maybe a year or so before I graduated from high school. And at that time, she was, like, maybe 15, 16, I believe. I am not sure. I just know she was, like, 2 years younger than me. And there was, like, so many rumors about her. I don't know what happened. It was, like, she's, like, one of those people that, like, just showed up into my life and just, like, I hear these most randomest, like, rumors ever, right? And a lot of it had to do with, like, her sleeping with a certain circle of friends, which that was not true at all. Like, what truly is, like, the truth was that these people approached her, or, yeah, they approached her, and then, like, they want to date her, or they want to do some stuff with her, and then it's just, she refuses it, and so as like kind of like a toxic masculinity type of era back then, I would say, they will like spread rumors about her, how she is like a whore and this and that. And it's just like so not true. She is actually one of the most loveliest people I have ever met in my entire life. It was just like, it's kind of sad that she is a very forgettable person, honestly. Like, it really is, because I remember she shared that one time with me, saying like she always wanted to make like her own hangout. She wanted to like have somebody come over to her place or whatever and then just like hang out and stuff. And a lot of these friends that I have made were kind of like, no, we don't want to do that, or blah blah blah. And I'm just like shocked, because I'm just like, I'm one of those people that really do want to go somewhere new to hang out, because I remember like almost every single Friday, like ever since probably like my senior year of high school, like whenever I did hang out with like my friends, like I said, I have been doing this since sophomore year. So ever since I met the anime club in sophomore year, like we always try to hang out every Friday, or at least try to almost every day at Stoner Park, which is the park that's right behind my my old high school. And I don't know, it was just like we always hung out, but we were always getting tired of the same places, right? So we try to go visit each other's homes and this and that. And so I did remember I did visit her home one time, and it was with when she was still dating Sparky at the time, and I got to see kind of like the I guess like the nightmare version of it, because like I have always told my friends and family and stuff like that, like no matter who I meet, I'm like, I am the type of person that is very, very affectionate towards my own family. Like, I think when I was growing up, I don't know, probably the maximum would be like maybe 10 times I would hug my mom and just tell her that I love her. And then just like do the same thing with my brother and my sister. And at the time, my dad too, when he was still alive. So we were always like kind of like a very affectionate family. And so we like my insight, or I would say kind of like my thought process was, I think all of my friends go through this type of like a daily thing, you know, like maybe they do show affection to their parents. I found that out the hard way, honestly. I found out like how horrible sometimes these parents are to their kids, or sometimes they'll be so lovely with their kids, and it's just like shocking. And so whenever I did visit my friend Momo's house, it was just mainly like so hostile, so negative, and I don't know. it's like the way that her parents were showing love to her was just mainly yelling at her and then just shoving like these gifts in front of her face, which is so sad because a lot of the time for me it was like if I needed like a new phone or something like that, like I usually just ask, and then of course my parents would be like, oh, like you need a new phone, okay, like what's wrong with your old one? And then I'll tell them, and then they'll be like, okay, if you do get like certain grades for the year, or just like if you try to pass like a certain test, we'll reward you with something. And so I was like that. And so whenever I needed something, like it could be just anything from candy to just getting like a new phone and stuff like that, I always try to earn it. And so I felt like for her, she did earn it, but it was mainly like, oh, like something happened with my phone, and then somehow it's like it gets shoved in their face, like here's a new phone, and if you try to break it, we're gonna ground you, blah blah blah. And so I was just like, okay, that's interesting. But mainly it was just a lot of yelling, I remembered. So yeah, so going on for this, but yeah, and I remember like just talking about this too with a friend of mine, Choji. Like I was just writing all this down, how we used to hang out with a guy that, like, I don't know, where just like reached out to me in high school, and he was like such a good friend also. And I'm gonna give him the nickname Cell. So he would like always hung out with me and my friend Choji, like at like a certain time in our lives. Like he would show up to Choji's house before he moved and stuff like that. And I don't know, we've always hung out, we were playing games, but it was just mainly we just talked, right? Like we talked very deep conversations. And then so I remembered like, okay, maybe this is a good time for us to confront this guy. And so we went to talk to him and just said, hey, we need to know the rumors about between you and Momo. And so he told his side of the story, and of course some things didn't add up, because I felt like we heard his side and then we heard Momo's side, and none of it kind of like seemed, you know, kind of like intertwined. And so we had to be like our own detective, and sometimes we had to question him, right? Be like, oh really, well then Momo said this, like, is that true? And then he'll be like, kinda, I don't know, like it's just been so long that I can't remember. And I was just like, dude, you had a huge crush on her for who knows how long, and then you were so super jealous whenever Sparky started dating her, because at like in the entire time that I have known Momo and Sparky, they were always on and off. Like I just remembered, like for a few months it'd be good, right? It'd be good, and then all of a sudden they just broke up, and it's just like, why? Like it's just really weird. I don't know, it just happened like that. And of course everybody called them like the very toxic couple, and I was just like, that's not really true. It's just that Sparky always did some stupid shit, and then Momo has always been like, hey, don't do that. He still does it anyway, and she's like, okay, well then I want you to stop. He'll eventually stop, and then somehow it's not to her liking, so they broke up, blah blah blah. I don't know, it's just like at that time it seemed reasonable, because a lot of the stuff that Sparky did that was really stupid was, of course, getting himself involved with drugs. And yeah, and he didn't want to quit that at all. Like he mainly just smoked weed most of the time, but whenever he got into the harder drugs, that was when we were like, okay, we need to cut this off, literally. So yeah, so going on with this, I did wrote down that she had been a target between Cell and Sparky, and she decided to be with Sparky. So yeah, so what happened was there was like a rumor back in high school where everybody knew about this, even like Mr. Hansen, which was like the drama teacher for that high school. Like he was the one who caught, I guess, this person, I would say. So what happened was they were trying to rehearse for this school play, right? And I remembered this, I already talked about this in a previous episode, where I did try out for the school play, and of course I did not got you know, like I didn't win an audition or anything, not even my friend Amy at the time. And so we were kind of like helping with the understudies and just some other tasks that Mr. Hansen wanted us to do, because even after like choir and everything, we really didn't have anything going on. And most of the time this was like around the time period where my mom would be working late and nobody wanted to pick us up at a certain time from school, so we had to, like, you know, make do with what time we had. And so I remembered I stayed a little bit after school so I can go help out like the drama kids and then the whole school play and stuff. And so at one time, they had like Mr. Hansen asked me and my friend Amy to like help out behind the stage, and we were like, yeah, sure, I don't mind. I just didn't know what I was, getting myself into at the time. But I was gonna help with paint, and then I decided no, I'm gonna do something different. And so I left my friend Amy to paint with a drama friend of hers, and then I ended up trying to see if I can go on the other side of the backstage. And that was when I saw Mr. Hansen just running past me. And I was just like, what's going on, right? And so I turned around. I saw two curtains trying to like basically kind of like open. And Mr. Hansen did not like what he saw. I just remember he was saying, get out. We don't need you here. Blah, blah, blah. And I felt like that was a little bit dramatic for him to say. But then when I found out like what really happened through another girl, which I do not want to say her real name, but I might as well. It's like, I don't think nobody even talks to her, and if they do, then hopefully she don't come out and come after me. But her name is Julie. And so Julie, apparently she was supposedly wanting to date Cell, and then she saw basically both of them being behind the curtain, and then somehow Momo was there. I do not know. I don't know the real reason. It was just like, at the time, I would say. At the time, and so I felt like, okay, I need to get some stories straight here. I don't know what happened, this and that. I'm sorry, I'm playing with my hair, you guys. I could see how crazy it is. Like, this storm that just passed last night, not only was crazy, it's still windy and cold. It's just made my hair very frizzy, so just ignore me. I'm trying to fix my hair. So yeah, so it was interesting. It was really interesting. I remember this rumor haunted her for I don't know how long, even after high school. And I remember I did ask her at one point what really did happen, and so once she told me the truth, I was like, okay, I need to hear someone else's side of the story. Like, I did believe her because, like, I knew, like, how much she got hurt from this type of rumor. And so I ended up just, like, kind of like, you know what, let me be a detective for a little bit. I talked about it with my friend Choji at the time. And then he was just like, I'm going to see if I can investigate even more, this and that. And then I even talked to my friend Jaws too, and then he's just like, I do not care. So yeah, so I ended up talking to my other friends that were in the anime club, their old generation and new generation. Of course, the old generation was just like, we just don't really care. We don't know what happened. That's like your friends, that's the new generation. And I was just like, okay. So I ended up talking to everybody there. Of course, everybody just had their own stories. And so I'm over here like, okay, I need to find out what really happened. And I didn't really find out until like a few years later. So yeah, so I also wrote down here, which I am going to explain a little bit what is the actual real truth, because my friend Choji told me about it when all of this was going on. He actually reached out to Momo, and then, well, kind of like after whatever happened to her, she went through a lot, you guys. I'll just explain it a little bit. And so he decided to reach out to her, seeing if, like, if she's doing okay. And then, yeah, and then he asked her certain questions, and then she told her side of the story. And this time it was a little bit different, but a little bit more detailed, you know what I mean? And so, excuse me, but yeah, so that's what happened. I didn't expect for this video to be this long, you guys. I was expecting I was gonna do probably like a 10-15 minute video, but yeah, but I've been rambling on for so much. But yeah, I wrote down also here that she was always cool to hang out with, and even made friends that got passed down to my own. And that was true. I remembered once she got introduced to the new generation of anime club, she brought in like all these type of like plethora of friends, and then somehow they became like my friends. And then eventually some of them we did fall out, some of them I still talk to as of today, and a lot of them are kind of like that's in her situation now, where she's doing her own thing, but excuse me, she don't reach out to anybody unless she needs to, and then she won't talk to anybody, like, if possibly we leave her alone, she won't talk to anybody for years. So yeah, because she's doing her own thing, and that's understandable. But yeah, so yeah, I did wrote this down, and then yeah, I remembered, I did talk about this earlier. So yeah, she was on and off with my friend Sparky, and when she heard that Sparky was dating LP, which I have explained that in a previous video, it was the Marilyn Manson episode, Get Your Gun. And she got so mad. She really did. I remembered at that time they were trying to make this relationship work, and I don't know what happened. Sparky became like very kind of like lonely and sad and everything, and so he just thought like, I'm gonna be by myself for a little bit. And of course that didn't last, because he turned to more drugs, and he went into like other different types of company that basically I still believe that led to his ultimate demise. And so I ended up trying to reach out to him at one point, saying like, hey, you need to like, you know, make up with my friend Momo and see what happens. And then he was like, no, I ended up dating somebody else. And when Momo found out that he was dating LP, yeah, that was over. She definitely knew that she was never ever getting back with him ever again, because he started, of course, being toxic around her, and I was shocked about that. I was just like, really, like, it's different when it's just between me and Blake and other friends stuff. But yeah, anyway. And then, yeah, so I wrote this down because I can't believe I remembered about this. It's like, she dated, married, and then divorced a guy named Devin, and I knew I never liked the guy. So yeah, so now I can explain that. So after high school, after the whole nonsense, she started dating some dudes, or at least tried to like get herself together, basically, because she was like, I just got out of a very horrible toxic relationship, blah blah blah, and she wanted to do something better for herself. So then she ended up kind of like going locally dating. She tried dating like locally, I remembered, and then some of the dudes were not good for her and stuff like that. And then so she went online to go find a guy named Devin, and I think I only met him once, I believe, but for some reason I just had this little inkling in the back of my mind that supposedly there was something off with him. I don't know what, but I remember I explained this to everybody, and including Momo, and she's like, you really think so? And I just said, yeah, but I'm like, hey, if it doesn't work out, you know, there's always other guys out there, right? And so she's like, well, I want to try to see if I can make this work. And so I just said, hey, that's fine, go ahead. And so during this time, she was seen less and less. Like, I believe she just stopped hanging out with us, especially with my friends. And so there was a lot of hangouts that we never saw her show up and stuff like that. And so we just thought, okay, we're going to have to like move the hangout spot somewhere else. We have tried Cypress Park, that was nearby an old friend of mine, which was Ellie, which I need to do a video on her too, because I feel like through K-pop, I met her through that, and through also another friend of mine. So yeah, I don't know. It was just so weird. And it was just so sad, because then eventually everybody forgot about her, and she was always in my back of my mind. I was just wondering, like, where is she? Is she okay? And I remember I would like try to reach out to her, messenger or text message, and most of the time she's just like, oh, I'm busy with Devin, or if not, she's like, oh, I just got grounded, I'm not allowed to have my phone. And I was just like, that is really weird, this and that. And so yeah, and then all of a sudden we started like just not seeing her at all. Like, I feel like the last time I have seen her is I wrote this down on here, was the last time I've seen her was at that Wiener Schnitzel with Blake. And so yeah, that was the last time I have seen her physically. And I remember like me and Blake, we were hanging out or something like that, and we were just in the mood for Wiener Schnitzel. And I remembered walking from the house to Wiener Schnitzel, I think, and we were just like, you know what, let's go get something. And so there is a Wiener Schnitzel like just down the street from my childhood home, and yeah, so we saw her in her bike, and she was like, Jenny, Blake, and I was just like, hey, we haven't seen you forever. And it's like, yeah, I've just been busy. And she says she's also been working, and we're like, oh, we did not know you were working, blah blah blah. And so we kind of caught up with a little bit, and then it kind of felt weird from there, because I was like, okay, is this going to be the last time I'll see her? And apparently it was, but I have been reaching out to her whenever I can after that to see if she wanted to hang out. And a lot of the time she was so busy with work, like, she didn't even respond to me a few times, and I was just like, okay, that's interesting. So yeah. So not that long after, we heard that she was dating this guy named Devin, of course, and then met him once, blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden things went really fast from there. Like, I think she ended up moving in with him in Arizona, I believe. I don't remember. Like, it's been so long since I've known the details, but it's just, I remembered another friend of mine went to go live with her and Devin, and yeah, it was just like, I don't know, it was so strange how that happened. Like, there was just so much negativity in that house, and it led her to at one point being stranded. I don't know, like, he drove her in the middle of nowhere, just left her stranded for, like, I don't know how many hours, and nobody did nothing to help her, and yeah, like, he physically abused her, and, like, mentally, psychologically, everything. It was just so sad, and I felt like I should have done something also to reach out to her, but I just remember I was so busy with life, and I thought, well, it should have been, like, you know, a two-way thing. Like, yeah, she should reach out to me, but maybe she couldn't because she knew that maybe I was not going to be able to help her in any way since I was already busy with my life and blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. And then eventually they got married, and then not that long after, they ended up getting a divorce, and it was not pretty at all. I remembered, like, seeing, like, I don't know if it was like statuses or something, I don't remember, but it was, a lot of it was like he was blaming her for everything, and I don't know, it's just so sad. I really was. I was just like, I honestly thought she was gonna try to make the relationship work, and then no, it didn't. And so now I feel like, and I wrote this down, and I do truly mean that, like, she is now in a relationship that she deserves, and I agree. I'm not sure any more history than this guy or anything like that she's dating right now, but I just remembered, like, she gave herself a break from the divorce, and I remember she reached out, or at least my friend Choji reached out to her saying if she's okay, blah, blah, blah. And then that was when we found out about the true details of that rumor. And then, what else? Oh, and I don't know. And so we found out the real truth. And what happened was, a lot of people really thought that she was actually giving fellatio to sell, and that was so not true. He was actually trying to, like, kind of like force her to do it, I guess. And I was like, that's a bad no-no, you know? And luckily, Mr. Hansen caught him in time and just said, hey, we need you out of here. And then so I remembered Julie was just so upset about what happened, because she was like, I really wanted to date this guy, and now I don't want to. And then I remember Sel tried to, you know, try to date Julie, this and that, and I don't know, it was just interesting. And I remember they did date it for a little bit, and yeah, so I'll probably explain a little bit more on that video once I release a video. So I don't talk to him as much or anything. I mean, once in a while I do say, like, happy birthday to him, at least, of course, once a year, but sometimes I forget to do that, especially if I'm really busy during his birthday week and stuff like that. But other than that, I feel like he's been doing really well, so maybe I could do an episode on him too, because he was an interesting person in my life, and I remember me and Choji used to talk about him a lot whenever he and I are on the phone, and always talk about the past, and so that's going to be a different episode in its day. So yeah, and then I wrote down, but yeah, going back to, she is now in a relationship that she deserves. I believe she does deserve this. I genuinely think so, because I feel like the last time my friend Choji checked up on her before he deleted his Facebook was that she is finally getting everything together her way. Like, yeah, sure, she's working like crazy hours at her job or something like that, but the guy that she's currently dating, he's like really nice to her, and I was like, that's really good. And he actually asked me, like, you need to check up on her Facebook, and I remember I did snoop a little bit, you know, just to make sure. And a lot of it is like, you know, random shit that I kind of share also on my Facebook. It could be anything weird, and then sometimes it'd be something artist related, or just something like her dogs did, or something else. So yeah. But yeah, and I wrote down that too. She loves dogs and indie music. I believe the indie music was always there, to be honest. But I felt like when Sparky became, like, you know, inside, like, basically whenever Sparky hung out with us and stuff like that, and Momo just decided to hang out with us too, I felt like they had, like, that shared common interest, right? And so yeah, that also led to another type of rumor about her too, because a lot of people really thought that they were dating and this and that. I don't know, but it was so weird. But yeah, and I did wrote that down. It says she used to have a fling with my friend Jaws, which I don't even know if it's true or not. I remember her side of the story. I remember Jaw's side of the story. And then whatever Choji got something from him before, he completely forgot about what happened. And yeah, all I know is the real truth is just between those two. Maybe they had a fling, maybe they didn't. All I know is that because like I felt like his influence of him listening to a lot of indie music led her to, you know, just liking indie music. And so yeah, and that's basically my shit that I wrote on here. But yeah, all I gotta tell you guys is that she's a very lovely person. I'm hoping if I'm ever back in town, especially hopefully whenever I get to visit my family and stuff, hopefully I'm able to hang out with her, or at least talk to her for a little bit and see if she wants to like meet up and then hang out. And I don't know, because also when she did find out about like Sparky dying, I don't remember who reached out to her. And like I said, I was still in a shock, and I should have been the one reaching out to her once I found out the real truth from it. And I did told my friend Barbie and everybody else. And so a lot of people were shocked about it. And then a childhood friend of mine that I grew up with, which I am going to make an episode on him too, he like just told everybody the truth. He even goes to visit his grave, you know, once in a while just to say hi to him and stuff like that. And so I felt like, yeah, I should have been the one, you know, telling her, but I was just still in shock about it, because I had never expected to lose a friend again, I would say. So yeah. And I think she ended up visiting him with her current boyfriend, fiance, whatever he is. I just know it's like her partner, right? And I remember he asked questions about it with her, and just she decided to like answer what happened. And so he was kind of like, oh, okay, that's kind of brutal, that's kind of like toxic, like you don't deserve that. And then so she was like, yeah, I didn't realize it until it was too late. Or she did realize it and decided, you know what, I'm gonna fully back away. And then he had, you know, some dating history too, and so it kind of led to like, you know, Sparky never wanting to date Momo again, and for her not to date Sparky again. So yeah, anyway, I am gonna end this video now. That's the end of the memory. But yeah, I just remember like there was like, I know I said a lot of bad things about like what happened with her and stuff like that, but a lot of it has been really good. Like I kind of miss the old hangouts from high school. I really do. I just remembered how almost every Friday I always looked forward to just hanging out with like my friends in the anime club, to hang out with them at Stoner Park or anywhere else. We did hang out at DeAnda Park and all that stuff, but most of the time it was just Stoner Park all the time. And I don't know, I felt like I had fun. And like I said in a previous video, but I am going to reiterate it again, it's just like I felt like whenever I was hanging out with Demi most of the time in school and this and that, I felt like I couldn't have genuine friends, because all my attention was kind of like towards her. And like it's not really her fault, because she's had friends before that just like never bothered to be around her or anything, and it was just mainly like classmates that just, you know, they were not really good for her and stuff like that. And so she was always like my best friend and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden just after sophomore year, or at least at sophomore year and stuff like that, I started making like actual friends that were like truly genuine and this and that. And I felt like I can see that they're gonna be like really long time friends, right? And I felt truly like that until my junior year in high school. And so when I was introduced to the anime club, thanks to my friend Sam, I was just like blown away of how genuine these people are. And then just as of today, some of these people that I grew to know, or at least at the time during high school, I don't talk to them, at least not all of them. I just know something about it and then just move on. But the other ones that I do still talk to, I still talk to as of today. Ironically, I was in a conversation with the said person just the other day, and I was like, you know what, I want to do an episode on her too, because I feel like ever since I moved to Texas, of course, I still have friends that still talk to me and this and that, but it's just like I felt like she's one of the people that reaches out to me the most, and I'm very happy about that because I'm always like in my own little bubble, right? I'm always like, I gotta do this, do that, and then I forget to be human for a little bit to socialize. And then once I do socialize, I already have like text messages piling up on my phone saying like, hey, I need to talk to you about something, or like blah 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 blah, and I'd be like, yeah, sure. And so I got to talk to her just yesterday, and it was kind of fun. So I was just like, you know what, I'm going to see if I'd be able to reach out to more of my friends. I want to see, and if not, then my bad. But you could see my Facebook, like if any of my friends on here that has me on Facebook, like, you know what kind of random shit I do post up and all that stuff. So you already know that I'm still on Facebook and I'm still doing things and blah, blah, blah. That's why I'm trying to do some updates, because I have heard rumors, you guys, of like so many things that happened to me apparently, and it's not true. Like, I'm just saying this, like, happened to me, but it's not true. And I had to dispel some of those rumors, especially with my friend. And yeah, I don't know. I'm still trying. I was just shocked about it. And so I felt like whoever was spreading that rumor is just like, I think I need to talk to them and find out who it is. But yeah, anyway, I am gonna go now, you guys. I'm gonna try to clean up the small room a little bit. I feel like I'm finally getting the hang of some organization here. I still have a pile of papers to shred, honestly. I don't know how big the pile is, but it's pretty big. And then I still have to go through clothes of Mercari, and then I still need to do that video idea that I need to do from the Shabby Tree Boutique, and I'm hoping to do that sometime soon, at least like once a week. Or maybe that will replace like a weekly video that I do on here, where I talk about like the Shabby Tree Boutique clothes that I have ordered, or some other stuff that I have ordered off of that online boutique, and then, excuse me, explain like what I'm going to do as a series for that one. And then who knows if I'm going to continue from there. It's not going to be that constant, you know. I don't think I'm going to be buying clothes there almost every week, since a lot of the stuff is expensive. But most of the time, I never have time to look into their online boutique shop, unless once I sit down and then I find something I want, I purchase it, and then I'll explain it, like something like that. And then another thing that I wanted to do too was, I guess I was gonna do like a shorts video, maybe like a little small series, was do this. I don't know if you guys can see it, but like maybe I'll move the camera for you guys. But that thing on the floor, that thing that I showed you in my previous shopping haul video, was like, I want to open it and then just organize my stickers with you guys, and then that way I'll be able to have everything organized in there, and then maybe do the beads too, because I know there's a section I really want to do with beads, but for now it's going to be stickers, and I'm going to be wanting to organize that with you guys, so expect shorts from that. And I don't know what else, because I feel like I have so many craft supplies around me too that needs to be like organized too. I don't know, it's just going to be so much, you guys, and it's going to be a journey, and maybe I'll be able to vlog about it, who knows. But for the meantime, yeah, I'm gonna go now. So yeah, next week, I am not sure what next week is going to be. I just remember like how I've just been so nostalgic. It's always the beginning of the year, and it's always like a start of a new season, where I'm always nostalgic. I'm always listening to music, and I just want to write down some stuff that just reminds me of certain people, and then just talk about it on here, especially with songs. So yeah, I'm gonna go see how often I'm gonna upload playlist stories. I'll probably do it like twice a month, depending, or if not, I'll replace one of the videos that I usually do with like shorts, and maybe like short videos, and then that'd be it. Who knows? Anyway, I'm gonna go now. I've been rambling on, but yeah. So hopefully you guys have a lovely day and a lovely week, and I'll see you guys next week. All right, bye everyone.